Hello and welcome back to Suitcase Disc by Disc, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter. I'm Ben,
I'm Dan.
and we're starting a new suitcase today.
Yep, new
That's right,
season.
new season. New season because we took a break. Totally. Well, we did take a
Yeah.
break. We didn't record last week, but we're uploading these weekly now, so you don't know that. Um, yeah, we're doing Suitcase 3, Disc 1 today. Disc 9 overall. This suitcase came out, I believe, 2009.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yep. 5 years after two, right?
4 years after 2.
4 years, okay.
The only suitcase to not be released in a year ending in 0 or 5.
Ah, yes.
It's a weird thing to notice, but I did notice that.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking they were all 5 years apart, but yeah, you're right. This one came a little early.
Yeah. So I guess in tradition of it being disc 1, where were you when this came out?
Let's see. I was in, I guess, my post-college life because 2000 or the Suitcase 2 came out pretty much right after I graduated, and by 2009 I was in Rochester, New York, and I remember receiving that one in the mail and putting that on. I had this was a record player that also played CDs,
Hmm.
just kind of a weird unit because I just that's my memory of is like getting this in the mail and popping in a I think disc three
Hmm.
because I really wanted to hear a certain song off of it, and yeah, so I just remember doing that, and by that point, I think I had already attended Heed Fest, and I had been on
Mm-hmm.
the Disarm the Settlers forum for a long time, so this one felt like I don't know, just like there was definitely a lot of excitement and build up to it, and
Gotcha.
just a lot of like dissection of the contents and whatnot. So yeah, how about
Gotcha.
you?
It was 2009. I didn't listen. I wasn't listening to GBV. I'm not gonna have good disc 1 stories until we get to Suitcase 4, and I do have Suitcase 4 stories, but
Excellent.
2000.
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
wait.
When in 2009 did this come out? Because I
That's
didn't
a
think
good
to check.
question.
I should probably. One of us should. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna do it.
check the database. The database knows all, except
Yeah.
the release date of Vampire on Titus. It doesn't have that, but it has.
Oh, it's actually November 2009, so
Oh, good
late
call.
'09. Yeah.
Oh, November 2009. So then I would have been 2.5 years from hearing Game of Bricks for the first time. Not bad, actually, not bad. What was I listening to November 2009? Bad music. I listened to bad music and maybe also
Oh yeah.
Gorillaz.
Define bad music
Ra- uh,
like what?
Green Day and Foo Fighters and shit.
Wow. Okay.
Radio 104.5 in Philly.
Yeah.
Basically that. That's what I listened to.
We all had that phase, I feel like.
Yeah, I just
You
had it
know,
early. Like when everyone had. This is such a bad tangent to start this on, but
this is a
it
great tangent.
yeah, but it has to be said, especially in my generation. I imagine yours too. Um, it does kind of feel like everyone has a phase where they get really edgy, but like in middle school, what the music they listen to.
Yeah.
I had that in fourth grade, so by the time middle school rolled around, like I was listening to Blur. Like I had like what my generation had was we had like the wrong generation. Like Queen and Led Zeppelin are so much better than the pop that's made now. And to be fair, early 2000s pop is a graveyard of creativity. I don't like pop more now, but it's less bad than it was in the early 2010s. I also listen to a lot less of it now because I'm less exposed, so maybe it still
hmm
sucks. Maybe it's still equally bad, but I don't notice it as much. So to me, it's not as much of a problem. But my middle school was spent whining about how much better Pink Floyd was than modern music. Then GBV
Uh,
started to really make sense, and there was really no turning back at that point. That was the point of no
yep.
return.
And here we are
That was the
now.
point of, oh fuck, I don't know what circus, I don't know what this Circus Devils is, but I'm kind of into it, which will be relevant later this disc. But
Excellent.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Funny enough, I was in eighth grade when I first started listening to the Suitcase tracks. So that's what I was doing, is I was listening to Suitcase 3 in eighth grade in
Okay.
2013.
Oh, gotcha.
And the first song I heard from Suitcase 3, understandably,
hmm
is a really nice 30-second tune called Building a Castle.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah,
It's a good catchy hook, and I think Bob agrees because it got remade.
remade. Yeah, a rare Suitcase remake from the what I call the neoclassic lineup. I think this is on
Yeah.
Bears for Lunch, and it was reworked into Up Instead of Running, which is
Hmm.
a pretty solid tune, I will say.
Very solid. It's
Hmm.
almost circus or not circus, Boston Spaceships
Ooh,
esque.
good
And
call.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't want to get too invested in a discussion about that, but yeah, absolutely. But it's not like I guess with song remakes is you need the remake to bring out the true potential of the song. It's all here. 32 seconds, you're already hooked.
hmm
And I think it's what is it? It's the keyboard that Bob uses on Doctor Genesis from King Shit.
yeah,
I
that
don't know.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the keyboard is. I'd love to know. I don't know what it is, but it's a
I bet someone out there knows.
yeah. It's like a heavy tremolo, and it
Just
sounds really
distinct
good.
sound. Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds really good here.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know what else to.
keyboard Bob.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it because it's 32 seconds long.
Hmm.
I think we'll have more to say about this next song.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
at almost 2 minutes long, which is still not terribly long, we have Tired of Knocking. So, one of the things that makes Suitcase 3 interesting is that across the 100 songs, 10 of those songs are outtakes from Elephant Jokes. So,
Yeah, it's almost
yeah,
like a mini Bob solo record that's, hidden or spread
yeah,
across the disc. So
yeah.
it's really
So,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, so
This
they're,
is it's like the Milko Wave of this
yeah, but all the, yeah,
suitcase.
yeah, but all those bands have different names. I did look over. There is one artist whose name gets reused on a lot of songs, but that's a
Hmm.
special case compared to something like Milko Way. Like Remington Ash popped up a lot, but we're not quite there yet. So
Okay, yeah.
originally Elephant Jokes was a sprawling. I'd have listened to it in the order 32 song
Yes.
double album that may have been weirder than like half the Circus Devils albums. Like it was a weird fucking album. And I guess Bob decided that was too much, so he cut 10 songs. And it's still one of Bob's longest albums. Like 46 minutes is not a short album. But
Is
it was,
it?
yeah, it's still really long. But it's
Yeah.
also a single album, so the other 10 tracks, I think, were going to be on a CD called Tug of War at the Faithful Center. And
Oh
then
yeah.
that got canned, and a bunch of those tracks ended up on Suitcase. Because there were tracks in there that weren't Elephant Jokes outtakes that also made it onto Suitcase. There's none of those are on disc one. It's just Elephant Jokes tracks here. But I gave all that exposition so that I can follow it with why the hell is Tired of Knocking here and not on Elephant Jokes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can't really say. It's of a piece of with all those Elephant Jokes era stuff.
Hmm.
It's like really distinct, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, this is a great one. It's just
yeah.
rocker. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's by Bob, especially by Robert Pollard standards, like of the solo albums. It's a really off the cuff album, and it certainly shows on some of the outtakes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I know,
for
like
sure.
yeah, the album has a lyric sheet, but like the way that Bob sings when he doesn't have words in mind is how he sings on like half of Elephant Jokes and how he sings in the
Hmm.
song. But the songs
Hmm.
have lyrics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's got kind of a slurred feel to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the Circus Devil song "George Took a Shovel." That's what Elephant Jokes sounds like. It's a difficult album. I know. I think when Todd Tobias talked about it, he said that there are people who had outright told him that they couldn't get into Elephant Jokes. It's like that's fair, but you're missing out, and you're missing
Yeah,
out
that's
here too
funny.
because Tired of Knocking is great. We spent a lot of time not talking about Tired of Knocking.
Yeah.
Um, it's it
How
would
long
have
is it? Like a
so
minute and a
far.
half?
Yeah, it's 151,
Yeah.
so it's not long.
Yeah.
But again, Elephant Jokes. Most of those tracks were long. Most for a reason. Again, we'll get there. Um, but it's heavier. I think it's heavier than something like Cymbals and Heads even.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I could maybe see
Well,
that being why Bob didn't want it on the album. Like if something had to get cut, maybe it'd be that. I don't know.
yeah, I
I
would say
can't.
most of the outtakes on that show up on Suitcase 3 are kind of on the heavier side, although a few of them are on like the really poppy side too.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
one just exists in a world of its own, and it's on this
Yes.
disc, and we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about it. But yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, Tired of Knocking is incredible, and again, would love it on Elephant Jokes, but it makes a great track too, which
Yeah.
leads us into another recurring theme. Um, Pissing in the Canal would have been the first Guided by Voices album in 1984 if it had been released, but it wasn't.
Yep.
So three of its tracks appear on Suitcase 3, and one of
I
them
think
is
this.
on track 3, and it is called "Together,
Apart.
Apart, Together, Apart." It's nice pop. It's good pop. 3 minute 80. It's 80s Bob. I've talked before
Yeah,
about 80s Bob. I love 80s Bob.
yeah, it's great, and I think the pissing in the canal tracks are among the best of
They are.
that genre of Bob stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, if
actually, because they really sound like REM.
yeah, at this point, like we've heard most of the of that tape, but
I think there's two songs that have not seen the light
there's a
of day in
few
any
that
form.
haven't. Yeah,
There are
but just
two. It's
yeah,
6 Feet Down, which no one knows anything about, and what seems to be another version of Quality of Armor, because
yeah,
an old Bob tape isn't complete without a version of Quality of Armor.
right on. Yeah,
Somehow not in this
but
suitcase. We'll get there though.
I would
But
say though, having not heard it in its entirety, but it still
it would have been quite
shapes
good.
up to be a pretty good little record
Yeah.
there.
It would have been pretty
I,
short,
I
but the songs are great.
yeah, yeah, it definitely would stand up, and I think I like it better than say Sandbox. But
Yeah. Well,
for me,
it's
that
yeah.
jangle sound is more up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, Together Apart's kind of a goofy song. Like, I don't remember the verse lyrics, or most of the
Mhm.
lyrics, because I'm sure they're fine lyrics, but come on. Together Apart, come on, that's just, it's a great hook. 84, Bob. He was 10 years from writing B1000 that everyone loves. He had it there.
Yeah, it's
All
cool.
right, yeah. Track 4. 4 minute Remington Ash song called Away with Driver. Oh, God. I like this song, but man,
Me too.
this is another recycle, kind of. Um,
Yes,
for the
it's
most part, this is my understanding is Bob was going to put out a solo Psycho album. So Psycho and the
right.
Birds was a project he had with favorite record producer of all time, Todd Tobias, where Bob would record demos and then Todd would dress them up with instrumentation, but not like replace Bob's demo or anything. So you could barely make out the words if they were there, and you'd hear like a faint acoustic guitar. Basically, it ends up being like Bob directing Todd in a way. It's actually quite good. They have two albums in an EP, and I like all three.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Bob
they're
was gonna
excellent.
put out an album of just boombox demos.
Right, which would just be Psycho,
Yeah,
no birds.
yeah, which
Yeah.
probably would have instantly become the weirdest thing he'd ever released, because like
Hmm.
it would have been in that 100 book, and it would have just been like unapproachable, I think. But away with, I believe someone said that the Remington Ash tracks and some other tracks in Suitcase 3 were going to be on that. I think the B
Yeah,
sides from Butler Stands were also from
yeah.
that.
I think you're right. They have a pretty distinct sound to them, even just
Hmm.
being acoustic. Like they're really distinct from,
There,
say, like the
there's
Milko Wave
yeah,
stuff.
like
They're not.
there's a bit of a greater clarity. Like
Yeah,
they're obviously lo-fi, but it's very clear lo-fi. Away with Driver is, I guess it would have been the long track on there because it's 4 minutes. The first 2 minutes are
yeah.
pretty much just like one chord shape because Bob's really going for the drone there. At maybe
Yep.
2 minutes in, he changes to a bar chord and then goes right back to droning. And it's a good drone, but it's pretty easy to see why that would have been difficult to maybe make Psycho and the Birds or really anything else.
It's
And
a
then
little bit of an endurance
yeah,
test,
and
but
then
it is a good song.
yeah, but it's yeah, and then 3 minutes in, just Your Rate Will Never Go Up shows up
Yeah,
out of
like the
nowhere.
bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
which is
don't
cool because
mind because it's everybody's
yeah,
freshly grown mass. Was it fleshly grown
fleshly
mass?
grown
That's
mass.
a disgusting lyric.
And it really is.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, I mean, you can tell when if like you take in the song as a whole, that's the part that stands out. So,
yeah, and the rest
um,
is like
and
set piece. It's an odd
yeah,
track.
it is an odd track. I noticed recently, as in like today when I was listening to it, like right at the end, it kind of almost goes into like another song almost. I mean, it's
Yeah.
part of the same track, but he when he starts doing this arpeggiated guitar at the end and
Hmm.
kind of it's almost like a little snippet at the end. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. It sounds a
yeah,
little bit like the guitar part that got used on Sweet Jelly. It sounds kind of like that. Do do ding ding do do ding
Yeah,
ding.
yeah.
Yeah,
It always reminds me of something else, but I'm not sure what. So that
yeah.
might be it. Yeah.
I guess it's
So
that. Okay.
yeah.
Uh, we're
You can
fit.
kind of think of it as it's a raw material track, you know?
Yeah.
Like he pulled something from it that's really good.
hmm I can
Yeah.
see that. Like, I don't have a problem with it being here. I'm also noticing we're
Yeah.
15 minutes in and we've talked about 4 songs. I know it's an episode one, but still, the nice thing about this disc is that there's some really bad songs on here that I don't want to spend a long time
The
talking
nice thing.
about. So we're just like
Speaking of which,
Trash Truck by. I know it says Demon Gods of Anger, but come on, it's the Fun Punk Five
it's a fun punk
from the
five
from the
from
band that bought
Bye Bye
you.
Song.
Yeah, I don't think the 2 songs in here are as bad as Bye Bye Song, but Trash Truck has a good 5 seconds, and it's because it's the riff from one of the best Acid Ranch tracks, which was Conspiracy
Really?
of the Machine Operators, which is like a spoken word piece where Bob talks about students in a like students at an elementary school revolting against their administration. I
Yeah.
choose to believe it's about that, but knowing Bob, it actually could be that. Trash Truck uses that riff and nothing else that made it good. I'm sorry, but it's bad. It's trash.
It's a basement jam with
Yeah,
just Bob kind of very
it's just
distorted vocals.
yeah,
It's a noisy
yeah,
improvisatory.
hmm
Is that a word?
yeah, yeah. It
Improvisatory.
doesn't matter. We get what you mean. It's fine. It would bother me less if it wasn't 3 minutes long. That's
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
This is more taxing than Driver, I think.
Oh yeah, it's long for it, and it's a track five too. So right,
Yeah,
you're kind of thrust into it. At least Bye Bye Song was track 100.
yeah,
This is track five. So
yeah. It can be much. I don't I mean
yeah.
yeah. I mean I think there are 2 other songs that might be better candidates for worst song on this disc. Not that it's a contest to do that. I want to make that clear. Again, we're not the Facebook group. We're not having a contest to see what song sucks the most, because that isn't fun. But I do not care for Trash Truck.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that it
It's
that's
not a
kind of the
serious
nature of
recording.
Suitcase. He's not saying like all these songs are great. Far from it.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's
the Suitcase. You're getting
yeah.
everything.
I'd like to think that he had a good chuckle putting some of
Honestly,
these
probably
tracks on
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll get to some chuckling later. But we have another Elephant Jokes outtake. That's right. It's track 6.
Yeah.
There's already
This
another
is a
one.
nice one. This
It's
is
called
like a very
Dropping the Bomb.
palatable one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like Elephant Jokes does this weird thing where after a bunch of like really angular tracks, he'll drop in something like Desiring or I Felt Revolved that regardless of vocal delivery is a clearly beautiful song. This song kind of fits that, but I think it's a bit more repetitive than some of the other ones. Like Desiring I think is really nice. And even if Bob shouting do 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 might be kind of weird, it somehow works. Dropping the Bomb is a great tune, but I can see why this got cut. It's
Yeah.
like
It's almost too nice
yeah, like
for
it's
elephant
it's
jokes.
too nice for Elephant Jokes, too weird to be on any of the other albums. Like maybe if
Hey,
those
I like
10
this one.
yeah, like if those 10 tracks had been like a 12-inch EP, I think that would have rocked. But it's
Yeah,
nice that they're here because they're good tunes
for
and
sure.
they're perfect
Exactly.
suitcase material.
Yep.
Because you can do
And
what
more
you can do what all the obsessives do and make your own compilations out of them
exactly, yeah.
or
I was
document
gonna
them on your
say
blog.
it's always good to get more Bob and Todd
Yeah,
tracks. So
I
whatever
miss
they
Todd.
did,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with dropping the bomb. It's a nice tune.
Hmm.
Um, another Remington Ash track next. It hasn't been
Yeah.
terribly long since the last one. What's so safe
What's
about
so
you? I
good question?
I think I like this song. I'm not sure. There's kind of
Yeah.
a lot going on here. It's definitely like more of an idea than a serious song because I this has one of the strangest chord changes I've ever heard in a song.
Oh, really?
Like I think the third chord, like it starts, "What's so safe about you now? Roll on the face," and then the next chord is like the last chord you'd follow it with. It just does it doesn't make any sense.
I like that because over top of those weird chords, that melody is very
Yeah,
memorable.
yeah.
Yeah, I just look at the title and I kind of hum that little duh, duh. Yeah, so
Yeah, like that hook is great, and it's a shame that we never heard that again. But the rest is suitcase. That's just what you gotta call it. You gotta call it Suitcase.
Right
Yeah.
on.
All right. Should we move on?
We should move on
Okay.
to Limited Transplitter.
Yeah, that's a
That's the
weird
band.
name. And the song
Yeah.
is Troopers in the Town, which I convinced myself for a while got remade, but it didn't. I just always think it sounds like Cyclone Utilities from Let's Go Eat the Factory. It's not
Oh,
the same
interesting.
song. Um,
Yeah.
I'm
The 80s
yeah,
rocker kind of.
yeah. I'm convinced this is from an album that I see referred to every now and again as Down in the Valley, which
Oh, okay.
sounds the impression I've gotten, especially because I'm pretty sure even Toby has talked about it once or twice, is that it might have been an earlier version of Devil Between My Toes. Because I've always gotten the impression that based on how a lot of outtakes from like the '80s sounded, that I think Ten Trumpet Funeral, which is on YouTube somewhere, was supposed to be on Down in the Valley, and like
I think you're
Joyriding
right
at the
about
County
that.
Fair and 60 Boats and tracks like
Yep.
that. Like this, Troopers in the Town, and I think Speak Like a Man later in the disc kind of sound like that, and there's a bunch of songs that sound like that.
Same with oh shoot, I had it in my head just
Like the
now.
really
Oh,
chorusy
Soul
guitars.
Barn.
I don't know about
I
Soul Barn.
I
I mean,
always
it's
associate
possible.
that one with
I mean,
that kind of.
you never know. I mean, my
Yeah.
thought has always just been, I could see Bob having kept a few songs, but it would have been like a really nice kind of album. It would have been a weird first album. Like Devil's also weird, but in a better way. Like I like Troopers in the Town, but I don't know if I could listen to an album of songs that all sound like that. It's not
Hmm.
my.
Yeah, this,
It's just not my favorite sound in the world.
yeah,
You know what?
that would be
I'm thinking about it.
interesting.
This song is drummed. Like this song has like the same drum fills as Soul Barn, so I'm gonna go with you that Soul Barn is from the same
It sounds like
batch.
Soul Barn to me. It sounds like the
Yeah,
same kind of
Soul. I like Soul Barn a lot
era.
more,
Or,
but yeah,
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like Soul Barn's definitely more successful as a song. This one's maybe a little on the slow side. I don't know.
yeah.
It's like a mid tempo. It doesn't quite rock. It
It's
doesn't
4 minutes
quite.
long. I want to
It's
clarify.
not pretty.
It's not bad. It's just it's
Yeah.
it doesn't do. I feel like it could bear to do a little. Actually, I think it might bear to do a little less because this is long. Uh,
Yeah.
this next song isn't long, man. By the Stools, appropriately enough. This is Gas. This is on Briefcase, and it's
Oh.
the first half is I think it's on Briefcases. Bob shouting over I guess another tape he had, and I guess he's running his microphone or whatever he has through an echo or from a delay unit because it's I saw it, did it, did it, shh. I saw some candy, baby. Which, if you listened to possible favorite Robert Pollard album ever, Crawling Distance, you may know that lyric because it's the first lyric from Too Much Fun.
Yeah, he quotes
Um,
that.
yeah, but yeah, Gas, and then Gas stays weird, and then it becomes Flesh Ears from June.
Yeah,
But
musically.
yeah, but instead of the Beatles melody I had before, Bob just keeps shouting gas. I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
I'm at a bit of a loss for anything to say about it other than, well, it's called gas.
It
Make of
exists.
that
It is a gas.
make of that what you will.
My
I don't
thoughts
know.
are a gas.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of gas.
Ooh,
I don't know what to say.
segue though.
Yeah.
The gas contains the lyric it's about seeing him digging up the road.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
And then the next
Track 10
song
is
is
watching them digging up the
watching
road.
him digging up the road. Yeah.
Yeah, was it do you want high school? Did it again?
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to hear that. I don't know if I'd love to hear it again, but it could
It
work.
would work.
This
Yeah.
might have fit better on some of the like classic reunion albums than the albums that they're doing now. The albums now tend to have a less sort of rock and roll feel and are more just rock. This is
Mhm.
rock and roll. Like this is like it's not 50s Bob because 50s Bob doesn't exist, but this is kind of like early 60s Bob.
It seems like
Pre Beatles Bob, if you will.
yeah, sure. It seems like this is another Remington Ash or Psycho
I
kind of
think it is.
track.
It's attributed to CC Rip, an act we will see again, and I will have choice words for it. But right now, it is stealthily not Remington Ash, but it totally is.
I mean, to me, it sounds very much like "What's So Safe About You." It's just kind of a similar song. Just
Yeah, but
an
it's better.
acoustic track. Yeah, I like this one. But yeah, like an acoustic track, but you can tell it's trying to be a rocker kind of.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, should we move? We have an interesting 3 song stretch up ahead
Oh yeah.
because I think we're gonna
Let's
have a
get
lot.
into it.
I was gonna say we're doing better on schedule now, but we're gonna completely lose it because we're gonna have a lot to say about these 3. First, Fate 1 Mile, I believe, is a thing, a phrase
Yes.
Bob saw on a road sign. So many titles and band names that Bob and album names that Bob comes up with are taken from road signs. Benefits of touring, it's free material. Coastal
Yeah.
Town, which I have to assume is 80s Bob because I don't know when else it could have been recorded. It sounds
Gotta
like
be.
nothing else Bob ever recorded otherwise, and it's closer
There's
you
like
are from yeah.
harmonica on it.
Except it's closer you are from Alien Lanes,
Yeah, it's the
but a lot slower.
pretty 80s Bob version of Closer You
Closer you
Are.
are,
The
yeah.
melody. Yeah. It's
Closer you
amazing.
are is one of the best tracks on Alien Lanes. I finally got around to adding it to my important songs because it just dawned on me that it's really that good.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really good. And this is also really good, but it's very different. And there's I think the first time you hear it and you realize you've definitely heard it before is a moment of whiplash because you'd never expect that.
Exactly.
Like Bob made it
You,
twice as fast and stripped everything pretty out of it to just make a rock song out of it, and that's how it worked.
yeah.
But Coastal Town's still very
Incredible rock
nice.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the lyrics are the lyrics are different. I'm pretty sure all the
Hmm.
lyrics are different. Like Bob in here isn't singing like you play the heavy, it's a real slick movie move, stone at the Alamo tonight. Nothing of the sort. Because it's 80s Bob. It wasn't as surreal yet.
I do like how the lyric about
Courtesy caress.
see the boys. Oh yeah. A few of the
Dreaming.
lyrics
That stayed. You're
peek
right, that
through.
stayed.
Yeah.
And then there's a harmony at the end. It's like courtesy caress the coastal town. It's like, oh, it's great. I love it. I love
Or
every.
what about the bridge? I get up at 7 o'clock and drive myself to the barber shop or something like that.
Yeah, it's the Lookout Rock is better, and the Lookout Rock would have fit here too. So to the
Exactly.
Lookout Rock. I think what's interesting here is when it goes and see the boys dreaming. It just kind of ends and then goes back into it. Whereas in Closer You Are, it maintains the momentum. I think that's what
Scheming.
Coastal Town is missing. Then is it doesn't have the momentum that Closer You Are does. Like when Kevin,
Yeah.
like in the mid '90s, Kevin Fennell was a pretty good drummer. He could maintain it. He could keep momentum pretty strong. That's what this. It's weird to say this song would benefit from Kevin Fennell, but I'm gonna say it because it benefits from a driving drum beat.
It
But it
definitely.
is a good tune and it is not to be missed. And if you listen to it casually, you'll notice it because everyone knows Closer You Are. Speaking of songs we've heard before, Escape from Kamaloka. This is Sea of Dead from Fiction Man.
Yeah. And we should
You
talk about.
think you can run, which at that point is also more Hot Dogs Please from Superman Was a Rocker, but we're we're several connections away now. This is a beautiful instrumental.
Yeah. Nice chords. I can't help but hear that melody from Sea
Oh,
of Dead,
all the
and
time.
I love the way it works.
Yeah,
As an instrumental, but I love the way that melody works with the chords. So it's just it evokes them even if you're not hearing the vocals. So
yeah. Which I think is a good thing, because like you could like if you like you could use it as like a background tune, and if someone
yeah.
didn't know it, they wouldn't think otherwise. But if you've heard Sea of Dead, then you're singing along the whole time.
Now, is this the exact same guitar track that's on Fiction Man
I think it
on
would have
Sea of
been
Dead?
credited if it was. I actually don't think it is. I don't know why I
Really?
think that, because it certainly sounds similar to one of the guitars that appears on Sea of Dead, but I don't think it's the same. You ever think about how Bob released 2 songs called Sea of Dead in consecutive years?
Oh yeah, that's
One of
true.
them, one of them's Doug though. I don't know. That's a complete total sidetrack. So I'm not going to dawn on that. But every now and then I think about that, and it's just like, huh. Bob's done that a few times. None on this disc. It just happens. And then, oh boy, I alluded earlier to this song's existence by Ben Franklin Airbath, The Annex.
To the Annex.
Yeah,
It's a
Ring
it's
Mod.
were we talking
It's
about
It's Halloween, Bob. We were talking about
Yeah,
songs that were too heavy or too light for elephant jokes. This is neither. This is just really weird. I can see why this didn't go on the album because this song is a force of nature on its own.
it's a Circus Devils song that's not
Written by Circus Devils.
really. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
It's
know.
just a bop.
Yeah, I know. Todd Tobias talked about not liking the annex after the fact because he felt he went too hard on just adding weird stuff to the song. Turns out that's what makes it great. Is
Yeah, it's
because
pretty amazing. There's
it's
sound effects.
you could it belongs on every Halloween mix CD that they sell
It
at
certainly
Spirit
does,
Halloween.
and I have done that before. I've played that
Yeah,
at Halloween
it's
parties.
perfect. It's
It
perfect
is.
for it because it's got Circus Devils moments like the way Bob sings it, sort of without like with a rhythm with a tight rhythm but not a melody. Like
Hmm.
I think there's one point where his voice gets really deep and he says "welcome." Like
Well,
it's Circus Devils but not.
and now I'm turning yellow.
No, I'm turning yellow again. I could see that being why the song didn't make the album. That's that's interesting for sure.
And
Um,
isn't there a song on Elephant Jokes, Cosmic Yellow Children?
yeah, but that song does not sound like this at all. That song is nice.
Well, maybe it's a reference.
Could be. That's I mean, Cosmic Yellow Children is also Bob singing a falsetto the whole time, so
Yeah, but
different weird. But if you're turning yellow, then the next color would be green ivory cross. It's a nice lick. Gotta give it
trying to
that.
remember this one.
Uh,
Shoot, I know
uh,
I like this one.
it goes like do 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 dee do 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 dee do 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 dee do 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 do.
Oh yeah,
It's a great lick. It's an okay tune, but it's a
I
great
dig
lick.
it.
It's here
Yeah.
because of that lick.
When do you think that one was made?
I have to guess mid ooze.
Oh really?
2000s. I call the 2000s the ooze. Um,
Yeah.
with a Z, like the word ooze. That's how I say it. It's really annoying. It makes people really annoyed with me. I will keep doing it. I have to figure then, because it sounds kind of like the other Remington Ash stuff.
Yeah, it does kind of. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I always think of this one as like 80s, but
Oh
I think
no,
you've convinced me.
because Bob didn't sound like that in the 80s.
Yeah.
I always listen for the voice because 80s Bob doesn't sound like 90s Bob, doesn't sound like ooze Bob, doesn't sound like 10s Bob. Time will tell how 2020's Bob sounds because we're not very far in. But yeah, I mean, Green Ivory Cross is nice. I like the name Green Ivory Cross.
I
I
do too.
really, I think I like the name more than the song, and it influences me liking the song because it has that name. I don't even think it's really in the lyrics. It's just a nice name.
It is. And a nice little ditty.
Yeah, that'll be the name of Bob's Pastoral. That'll be the name of the Pastoral Guided by Voices album. When Bob is 65 and wants to like do one mellow album, just to prove he can.
I would buy that one.
Yeah, I think it would be good. But this is good. Now, green is a nice color, but on the other side of yellow, if you were turning yellow maybe before you were orange, like a beautiful orange lemonade, like
Yes.
hit of the century, Janet. Wait,
Yeah.
I think Jimmy wrote this one, and
I
Bob
I
sang it.
remember that being said that somebody, yeah, that Jimmy
I
Pollard
wrote the vocal.
has the vocal. Yeah, yeah.
Like he didn't sing it. He's not singing
No.
here. I've always wondered when this one was recorded because it's not obvious. It's 80s, but there's no audience like clapping at the end, so it's probably not a live track. But there's
No,
drums and it's tight.
doesn't sound live. Are there drums?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's definitely
Just
drums. I have no idea when this was recorded. I couldn't tell you when or where. Not a clue. Because it's too tight to be Monument Club or like Acid Ranch or anything. Like the drumming is solid, but there's like I have to just assume it was like a song that was broken out of like a rehearsal.
maybe something the crowd or an early GBV incarnation would have done.
It's possible. I don't know
It,
what the crowd, but
just
I could see.
the recording is a little like bare
Oh
bones. I think
yeah,
it's not. It
it's
doesn't sound like a
it's
full
yeah,
band like with like
it's
maybe.
vocal guitar bass drums. That's what I hear.
Okay. It's
But
hard to tell really if there's bass on it. To me, it's
yeah,
just the way it was recorded.
I think there's a bass. I'd like to assume. Uh, Yeah,
Very good
regardless,
melody.
it's a killer track. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the issues with older songs that I've said, I want to hear this again, is, well, like someone like maybe Mitch or Toby co-wrote it. And they're not in GBV. And I don't know Bob's working relationship with them these days. Whereas if it's co-written with Jimmy, he's like, hey, my brother, let me use your melody on a GBV song. And Jimmy will say, oh, that rocks, Bob, do it. So I think we could hear Janet Wade again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little bare bones for this lineup, but I don't see why they couldn't try. Lighten the mood up a bit.
It could be interesting.
Yeah.
It feels like
It had as
so
a
you know when Bob remakes like
mhm.
a really old track like this, he usually
Yeah.
does something to the lyrics, to change them up, make them a
There's
little more modern.
yeah.
I wonder, yeah, these ones, I guess he would probably feel compelled to do that with, but they're
I
nice.
could yeah, like they're nice lyrics, but I also yeah, I think Bob would update these
Yeah.
for a slew of reasons. But they're not creepy or anything. I don't think Bob would put these lyrics on an album in the 2020s. I don't think anyone would now that I think about it. They're very old lyrics.
Yeah, they sound like a 60s pop song.
Yeah, which Bob
Yeah.
isn't quite doing a ton these days. Although who knows? I mean, they've probably got 2 finished albums we haven't heard. So,
Yeah.
um, moving on. I mentioned CC Rip a while back. They're back
Yep.
with
They're back.
what might be the worst song across all the suitcases. Independent Productions. It is
I'm gonna say definitely not the worst.
maybe definitely not the worst because there's another song in this disc that makes a very compelling argument. But God, it is bottom 5. I read
But this
once.
hmm
It's it's Bob humming to basically Bob muttering to himself while he walks across the room to blow his nose. That's this song. It serves no purpose, provides no insight, has no melody, barely
it's just
has lyrics.
hilarious.
It's nothing. And what bugs me about it is, and if I didn't know this, I would just be a little annoyed. Rich Turiel, who used to be more involved with GVV,
Mhm.
uh, mentioned in I guess once that one of the tracks in consideration for Suitcase 3 that didn't make it was a demo for Why Did You Land from The Power of Suck that included a unique bridge that had never appeared in any song before it or after.
Yeah, I
And that
remember
got
hearing
cut in favor of this!
that.
It's a minute
I
of
see.
absolutely nothing! Look, alright, Janet Wade is great. But what the fuck is this?
Independent production. It's a like a field recording.
Yeah, like at best it's like this it's what Bob does when he's not writing. Is he's just
Like
kind of existing.
who wouldn't want to hear Bob muttering and kind of humming and to himself for a minute?
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a song per se, but you're kind of
yeah.
thinking like,
Like
well, maybe he.
even Cash Rivers couldn't do something with this. And Cash
That's
Rivers
true.
is built off Bob just joking around with his buds at Buffalo Wild Wings or some shit.
Yeah, like this is mostly just silence. Honestly, it's
Yeah, there's not a lot to it. On the other
yeah.
hand, we have I want to say it's the first here. There's a bunch of Acid Ranch tracks in here. No, not Acid Ranch. Mailbox, which was
Mailbox.
Acid Ranch with a drum machine. And Mailbox never released anything under that name, but The White Flower is like a step up from Acid Ranch, so I'd have to say. It's like Old Friend kind of sounds like this. The White Flower
Yes,
is incredible.
it is.
I really like this song. Jubilant Toy Soldiers. Yeah, it sounds like it. It's great.
It is
And
great.
in one hand, he takes
Yes.
the red flower, ding, ding, ding. And I think there's a section where, because the drum machine's only doing one thing, so the beat goes into 7, I think, at one point.
Oh yeah.
It's a nice little twist, because, I mean, it's not a big song, but to pull that off, and what is it, like, I'm pretty sure whoever's on it, they're all harmonizing. I think I hear Mitch and Jimmy in there somewhere. So yeah, there's 3-part harmonies, a time signature shift, minute and a half.
Yeah.
Eat,
Like
suck it, yes.
yeah. It's kind of yeah. Exactly. It's like basement prog.
Yeah, and it's not even
Yeah.
really that proggy. It's just got a few elements. I mean, it's like this would yeah, like the fact that it fades in and fades out. What I will say is that I'd like to hear the whole thing because it does fade in and it does fade out. what I tend to imagine is based on the nature of the piece of the song that is about the white flower or whatever. I like to imagine that the full recording is like 5 minutes long, and I want to hear all of it
Heck yeah.
because it's so good. I don't know if this needs to be remade. It's kind of perfect in this form.
It is perfect. It's
It
good
just
sound to
it needs to be put on a GBV album, but completely unchanged,
it.
like just for no reason. There's no reason to do it. Actually, that's a little ridiculous. Maybe not that. Speaking of songs getting remade, Juggernaut versus Monolith. This is track 2 on Let It Beard and the Let It Beard boombox demos, and it's a Juggernaut and a Monolith. Wouldn't you know?
Right. I like how the title is kind of evoked from just the guitar on this song because it's
Yeah.
one chord, right?
Mm-hmm. For
To
most of
me,
it,
that
yeah.
yeah. To me, that could be a juggernaut or a monolith, depending on how you think of it. But
Yeah.
he's just
Mm-hmm.
strumming dun 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 dun.
Just want to. I think what's interesting about this is that all the lyrics are there. Like even amongst the Let It Beard demos, most of those are Bob just singing its syllables. Here, every lyric is there, and I'm pretty sure they remained unchanged. And it's
That's true.
odd to hear on a boombox demo, but all the lyrics are there. All of them. Like,
All of them.
yeah, like that's a rarity amongst the boombox demos, at least especially
It
by this
is.
point. I don't.
This one almost doesn't even count as a remake because I feel like it was just the demo for
Yeah,
the album.
yeah, but the
Not
clarity
like it
makes me
was like
unsure. Like I don't know.
really.
Yeah, I mean I'm not sure if only because the Let It Beard boombox demos have varying degrees of like sounds to them. Like I'm pretty sure they're all
Mhm.
the same boombox, but like some will have like a very loud hum on them. But then I'm pretty sure this and Bad Whiskey are the only ones that have the lyrics written on the demo, so I can't really tell.
Yeah, maybe those
Yeah,
two kind of came from a separate kind of session or songwriting uh,
yeah.
technique or
I mean,
whatever.
who knows? Didn't Bob and Slushy pull together Let It Beard from like 40 demos? Like I think like what
I
I
think
remember was they were like 40 demos and they narrowed it down to 26, and it did not change once during the making of the album. Once they had the
yeah, I think
sequence
you're
down.
right. I remember I used to think I Share a Rhythm was part of those
Yeah,
demos, but we
I did too.
recently learned
That it was
was
actually from 2006. More on that when
yeah,
we get there, because it's not on this disc. But
true.
Juggernaut is, and it is a Juggernaut and a Monolith. And I think when your song is called that, you have nothing else to say about it because it has already explained itself.
Yep.
Also, just kind of want to move on. We've got 7 songs left. We're 43 minutes in, so we got fast with
We
some
gotta
of these
move.
tunes. Yeah, we're doing pretty well for time. We can probably slow down a little now. I don't know if we can because the next song is feels good. I can say one thing.
Ah,
Um, anyone who's ever said that Bob doesn't use alternate tunings is lying to you, because you can't write a song like that in standard.
oh yeah.
That's a deep drone. I'm pretty sure like most of the song is Bob just going feels good like I do, playing the E string on a guitar tuned down to B, and then which I think
Soon to
is
be.
to B. It's low. Like you're getting into doom metal territory by that point. But it's Bob Pollard, who's never going to make a doom metal song. I'm not even gonna say unless he's just not. I think the most interesting thing about the song, whether it's the wind chimes and him flipping through pages, like it sounds like he's just playing random notes without fretting anything. Like it sounds like the guitar is tuned to that, and he's just
A little bit of a Jandek influence.
God. Yeah, actually. I think the most interesting thing is when he does change the lyrics. It's and tell me if you've heard this once or twice before. Starts going elevator to worse, elevator to far
Right
worse.
on.
You said
Yep,
it could
yep.
be worse, but now it is
Now it
elevator
is.
to far, which is the song "Elevator to Far Worse." That was a B-side to "Butler Stands for Us All." It's a great
Hmm.
little.
Which had uh, other tracks that are from that same Psycho
Yeah,
kind of album.
yeah.
So
I don't know about "Elevator" because I'm pretty sure that got credited to like
that
Mitch,
song was,
Toby, and Jimmy and
yeah, that song
whoever.
was definitely an old basement
And
recording,
I think it was
but
an old basement track that Bob added like sort of like how Gas is Bob singing over Flesh Years from June. I have to
Hmm.
imagine that Elevator to Far Worse is Bob singing over something else, because that recording sounds like Gas. Elevator to Far Worse as a phrase and in that rhythm also popped up on another track from one of Bob's best albums of all time, The Crawling Distance. Give it a 2.8 by your former roommate, I do believe.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Faking my Harlequin. We'll touch on that after we finish No Trash Allowed.
sounds good.
But I realize I finally have an opportunity to ask you about Pitchfork writer Paul Thompson. Um. Anyway, feels good is it does feel good, but there's not much to it. Candy
Yeah.
Machine by
Ooh,
one of my favorite fake band names, Video Bear Hunt, which I think
that's an amazing band
which is
name.
a Circus Devil's lyric. And all of his hunting video bears, they're loyal.
Oh wow.
Because you always forget that Mother Skinny isn't as heavy as you remember it. It's dark. It's not heavy. Um, his Troops Are Loyal is a great tune, as is Candy Machine, which is another Elephant Jokes outtake. The
Yeah,
vocals,
this is a great one.
the vocals evoke this sort of Caddyshack, off the cuff kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, what was that all about? It's a good tune.
This.
Yeah, good tune. I do like Candy Machine. I believe it was
Yeah, I'm
March.
trying to think of something else to say about it, but I
It's
got
just a
nothing.
solid. It's a little.
It's just a good.
It has a
Yeah.
psychedelic air that I noticed across. I mean, Elephant Jokes as a whole, even the outtakes, it's a psych album. It's a psych album. You can't really call it
Mhm.
much else. It's too weird to be something else.
Weird. It's
But this
got
song,
great little
yeah.
hooks.
But this song is, I think, a bit more spacious in some regards. Like this song has a lot more room to breathe than a lot of the other tracks.
Yeah, it's not as heavy as
Mhm.
Tired of Knocking.
It's not as light
Um,
as Dropping the Bomb,
yeah, yeah.
and it's not, something that actually made the album like Compound X. I don't know. I need an example. Man, after this, we're just gonna do a podcast about Elephant Jokes, and every week we talk about how great it is.
That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that with Mike in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Candy Machine's a good tune. Don't miss it. Um, Another Acid Ranch kind of tune, Air and Also a World. Its
Also a
lyrics,
great
yeah,
title.
its lyrics are as follows: Air and also a world. Those are the lyrics. It's a good
Those the
tune.
only lyrics?
Pretty sure.
Huh.
And also air. How do you come up with a name like that? That's a weird name. That's not a name that comes up naturally.
Yeah.
But the
It's
entire song is built around that name.
it's a very acid ranchy kind of title. I think a few others that are kind of like that. I don't know. I like that acid ranch stuff because you're gonna encounter stuff that sounds like it's part of the weird narrative, or
Yeah.
there's like a little spoken word part or something. It almost sounds like. I guess I always associate this one with
Hmm.
the White Flower,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
or
There's a
yeah,
bunch of tracks
just
in here like
um,
that.
almost kind of proggy in a weird way. So
I don't know about this
that
one,
makes
but I
me
can
think.
see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even if the track itself isn't, it just there's something about it that
Mhm.
like makes me feel like it's part of like almost like a segment of a prog song or something. I don't know.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Um, Moving on, we have 4 songs left.
Ooh.
Okay. First, let's go. Track 22, Gel Clay, Back to the Navy. I believe this is a 4-track demo recorded for Universal Truth and Cycles.
Yeah.
I know
I
you love.
love.
I'm letting you take
Yeah,
this
we've
one.
discussed. We both love that album a lot, and
It's a
the
great album.
outtakes are also great. So there's a handful of them floating around. We already heard the Tin Can Laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's Back to the Navy. I think Nothing So Hard and Joe are also.
they're all credited to Gel Clay on this suitcase.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's, I think, the I'm a Strong Lion B-sides, including the incredible Inchworm Parade that I know
Yep.
a long time ago I covered it and then didn't release for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember when I recorded it and I don't know why I didn't
And
release
I would
it.
love all the songs to just come back in some way, like Back to the
Mhm.
Navy would just kill. It
Yeah.
would kill.
And structurally it would still work.
Oh,
'Cause
totally.
It's got the sort of
I mean,
multi-structural anything.
the songs that Bob was writing around this time, yeah, they had these crazy chords, but then they would switch from little arpeggios to interesting chorded riffs.
Yeah.
Uh, and this does that a
Hmm.
lot. They're like structurally complex
Yeah.
songs.
Well, hey, he had Doug Gillard in his band. You gotta take. He
Yeah,
was taking advantage of that, and he was writing songs tailored
exactly.
to that style. And
Yeah, I honestly don't know why this one wouldn't have made the cut per se.
yeah,
It's it's just as good as a lot of the album stuff. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, my
Good,
guess is Back to the Navy sounds a whole lot like Back to the Lake. It would
That's a
be
good
weird to
point.
have those two songs in an album together. It almost
That's
makes you wonder
true.
if this wasn't actually recorded for Universal Truths, and this was like thinking of the other songs that sound like this, maybe isolation drills. It's definitely that
Yeah,
era. It doesn't really matter what
yeah,
it's that era. Um, but it might have actually fit better on Universal Truths. I don't know.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. It's a good tune. Would like to hear it again. Um, Speak Like Men, but from the 80s.
yeah.
This version appeared on bootlegs as Run, which is a way
Run.
worse title than Speak Like Men.
This is one of my favorites. There's a
It's
there's
good.
a
There's a
demo like a '90s demo for
Power
Power
of
of Suck,
Suck. Yeah.
which has a little different lyrics, but
Hmm.
this version is cool because it's full band.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think the
and it's a
biggest
great song.
mhm. the biggest difference is in the chorus. He refers to it as a public hell. I think in this one, instead of the private
Yes.
hell of the Power of Suck demos. I don't know.
um,
When you listen to Bob this much, you notice it.
yeah, I really like the melodies in the song. Both the verse and the chorus are really catchy. Just kind of interesting the way it's the uh, the chorus. I don't know how you would describe that, but the part where it's like life is no way. I can't even sing it, but
Yeah,
I like that melody. I find it unique. I don't know how to explain it. I guess, but
I can see that. Hold on, give me a bit. Taking care of something else real quick.
oh, gotcha.
Which I'm also
Yeah,
doing
this.
because I don't want to talk about Hi, I'm Kelsey.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
This.
avoiding it too. Speak
Yeah.
Like Men,
Thi-
one of my favorites.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it's one of my top tracks on this disc,
Yeah. On
and
the.
if not on the suitcase as a whole.
Okay.
But yeah, the next song.
This is the worst Suitcase song.
Yeah,
See, okay, so we're on the same page here. It says this is a We've Moved outtake, which terrifies me at the thought of Todd having to work with this, I will note.
yeah.
I don't think
I'd
it's
like to think
possible.
that what it really means in this case is like there was a cassette tape with a bunch of Bob demos, and in between a couple demos, Bob was messing around with a slide guitar, or it's like sliding a pen on his guitar or something like that,
Yeah, or just
right?
something.
Yeah, and then he decided to put a random voicemail or answering machine message
Yeah, it's.
on it, where you get to hear a little kid talk about farting.
Yeah, it's. It's. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's another piece of it's a field recording, so let's leave it at that.
Yeah,
Um,
just.
it's just another funny Bob kind of trolling us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just.
the next song's good.
Yeah, we end on a. Like, that's the okay thing about Kelsey, is it doesn't bother me too much because this disc ends on one of my favorite Suitcase tracks, which is a minute-long tune called No Trash Allowed, which, if you're paying attention, you've already heard twice before, but not with these vocals. It's Ivanhoe on Suitcase 2 and Jancy on the Takeover's Turn to Red, but now it is here with what sounds like. I'm not sure when Bob added the vocals to this. I can't really tell. I want to say. I don't know, actually. I don't know.
It's hard to tell for sure. I know that
It's not
if
80s.
you
It's not 80s, Bob, I don't think. But
Isn't Ivanhoe a title on one of the We've Got Airplanes
Yeah, but I
cassettes?
think someone confirmed it wasn't the same recording.
Oh, really? Okay. Just a reused title then. Um, yeah, I can't really tell when this is from. I would guess early
Early
90s.
90s ish, yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever the
It's
case,
hard to say.
whatever the case, it's an incredible minute. Uh, this belongs on every GVV starter mix, if only because it's a minute long and it's great.
It is great. I
Yeah.
remember one time, I just remembered this. This is cool. I had this on in the car with my girlfriend, and
Hmm.
it might have been like a little quiet, but she just heard like that melody, and she was like, "Is this a Christmas song?" And but that
It's
stuck with me because there's something about that melody that sounds. I don't think
hopeful.
it's Christmassy per se, but
It's
like I don't know
festive.
what she was thinking of.
I think it's the
But
waltz time too.
it
It's a
has like a
festive song.
folky, almost like timeless kind of quality to the melody.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
yeah,
This time was its Bob.
yeah,
It's a great way to round out the first disc, and at the risk of this running longer than it needs to, um, it's a great way to end our first episode of Suitcase Disc by Disc, where we talk about Suitcase 3, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter. Oh, that sounded weird.
wait, I thought of something.
Oh, what did you think of?
No trash allowed is a lyric in uh
No trash allowed.
Sacred Space,
Yes. No trash allowed.
right?
I'm gonna ride it out. And I'm pretty sure Home by 10. I feel like there's one or two places that refer to Home by 10, which I think was originally
Yeah.
Becoming Unglued, was originally referred to as No Trash Allowed in some contexts.
Oh,
But it's not the
interesting.
same song at all. It's another killer track. It's just not the same. That's a good call. So this might be older than Sacred Space then. That's likely.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, that is yeah, that's is the I feel like the discs on Suitcase 3, maybe a couple other ones have some of those like random weird kind of trolley tracks. Yeah, they definitely
Yeah,
do. But
I think Suitcase 3 definitely more than 1 and 2, and I want to say more than 4.
yeah.
So yeah, like 3 gets really mischievous at times.
But
What
then again, there are a lot of hits on this disc we just talked about. There's a lot
that
of
is
good ones.
true. The elephant jokes
Well,
outtakes I think certainly help.
yeah.
But then I mean, Elephant Jokes is Bob's sort of court jester album of look, I'm gonna throw this at you. Fuck you, eat my shit. You're gonna listen to this and you're gonna like it. Maybe
Hmm.
that's mean for a court jester now that I think about it, but it's Bob. I can't say Bob would say it either. I haven't met him. You have, but I don't know if you'd say it. Um, I think our work here for this episode is done.
I think so.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
nice work.
yeah, so we'll see or hope that you listen to us next week when we talk about Suitcase 3 Disc 2. Till then, Godspeed and take care.
Yeah.